All right, so hopefully we can stay in the shot. Just wanted to do a quick little wrap up of her first week. This is Thursday morning. This is the first time I've had her out today. I just wanted to make a video now in case I don't have time to tomorrow. Fridays I usually have a bunch of videos to make, so I try to kind of spread them out as best as I can. So yesterday we made a lot of progress. What do you see out there? Monday and Tuesday, excuse me, she was really standoffish with me. Nothing terrible, she just was unsure of what my intentions were, and she really didn't have a lot of interest in food. Usually the first session, she kind of just wanted to go off to be by herself. And then the second session, she would take a couple of treats from me here and there, but still kind of hesitant with me. Yesterday, the first session, I let my shepherd out with us, and I think she saw how I was interacting with her and that she was comfortable with me, and it kind of made her feel a little bit more at ease. So she was super social, playing with me, doing her little play bows and stuff, so I was very happy to see that. The first 2 days, a lot of my time was spent, since she wouldn't take food from me, I really made it a point not to put too much pressure. Like, I didn't try to reach out and pet her. Even if she did come up to me, I was very like, I don't want to say standoffish, but I wasn't pressing her to pet her. I would, if she came into my lap, I would just quickly put my hand on her and then not even look at her. I didn't want her to feel trapped if she did show interest, that I was all of a sudden forcing myself on her. So aside from that, I did a lot of, if she was trying to move away from me, I would just do annoying taps, and then when she came back towards me, I left her alone. So just so she can figure out that this coming near me is a safe space and much more comfortable. And a lot of times, you can't see in the shot, so over off to the side, I had a long line, so she could move a good distance away, where there was just that annoying tap, tap, tap on the leash, just a little bit of back and forth pressure. And then when she starts turning in towards me, it goes away. So coming to me is much more comfortable. Trying to move away from me is annoying. That's the amount of pressure that I'm using is just an annoyance and nothing aversive or anything like that. And another point is I would kind of turn and look away from her. So zero pressure coming into my space. There's no spatial pressure put on her. I'm not staring at her, making her feel uncomfortable that way, and then the leash pressure goes away. So aside from that, and there's a lady getting into her car outside the window, so if you see her staring, that's what that is. I wanted to help her understand the marker system that I'm going to be using. So a marker is just a cue or sound that marks a moment in time that I like something that she does. And for her, that's going to announce the arrival of food. So we have the word yes, we have the word good, we have the word okay, and then no. I'm not really doing too much with no right now. So when she hears these words, to her, she's going to learn that they are going to create the presentation of food. So that way, when I'm shaping new behaviors, I can mark and reward the exact thing that she does when she does it, even if there is a time between where food is presented, so that any behavior that happens between the mark and the arrival of food, we don't want to reward the wrong behavior. So if I'm asking her to sit, she goes into a sit, and then I go to reach in my pocket, she comes up out of the sit, and then I give her the reward. I don't want to reward that in between behavior. With the marker, that allows me to say, right there's what you did, that's what I'm rewarding. So right now we have to, of course, create the association between the words. Yes.
There's so many scary guys outside the window.
Yes. Good. Because she's sometimes hesitant of me, I can toss the food away from me so there's not as much pressure taking it from me. And there's literally 4, if you just heard the car start up, 4 very large men sitting outside the door now that she's a little preoccupied with. So the different markers, they are going to have different meanings as far as expectation of behavior. So yes means I like what you did, come take something from me. I know it's a big car. good and okay, those are going to be more of duration markers, meaning I want her to remain in behavior. So if I lure her into a position and I say the word good, I can use that repeatedly to keep her in behavior so that she learns remaining behavior has value, and then okay, I can lure her out of behavior. So okay will be, you're done with what you're doing, you don't have to do that anymore. Hi. How I offer the yes. I like to move backwards. I want to encourage her to move into me so I can kind of get her used to following me and continuing to take reward from me, but I can tap into her prey drive a little bit. So, yes. So I'll just keep those rewards coming until she disengages from me. I want her to not just take a treat and run away from me. Girl. So it's gonna get her comfortable being in my space. I use this one to shape new behaviors. Sorry, this video is like all over the place. The guys, they were staring in here and stuff, and it really distracted me, so I apologize if I'm jumping all over the place. The yes is what I use to shape new behaviors. It kind of creates that enthusiasm. So she goes into behavior, as soon as she does it, she gets rewarded and she can come take food for me. A big point that I like to make with this is if you say yes and she doesn't take the food, it just goes away. You can move away to entice her to follow you. But what I do not like to do is, yes, kind of like come around her to try to get her to take food. I want her to work harder. It kind of helps with a work ethic. If she's having to actually pay attention to you, yes, and come take food from you, that's gonna build her engagement and wanting to do things with you. If you go out of your way to always make her happy, most dogs, they take yes. They take advantage of that. So see right there, I said yes and she didn't pay attention. Most of that is because she's not 100% sure. She doesn't have that reliability with the marker yet, just because she's just recently started taking food. They're back. Rosie, yes. Good girl, it's right there. So she moved away from me, so I'm gonna just keep on backwards. There we go. And I regained that engagement with her. She thought about not paying attention. Right there, she's gone. Whoop. I know, he's very scary. Rosie, yes. Good. So see, she's pretty happy to do this now. The bar is low. I just want her to find value in moving in towards me. Again, I've been all over the place with the markers. I really encourage at home playing around with that yes marker, starting in a situation similar to how this normally is. You know, not a lot of, other than the guys walking around, there is a net out there. Other than, excuse me, not a lot of distractions. Sorry. We want to set her up for success. So because she's a little bit more timid of a dog, she's hyper aware of everything happening around her here. So if I went outside where all of the environment is much more concentrated, we would be moving at even slower of a pace. So start out in your kitchen, in your living room, graduate to the backyard. Every time she looks up at you and pays attention, keep her on a leash so that she can't just run away from you. It's gonna show her that there's value in paying attention to you. And it really, at this fundamental level, really translates so much nicer when you start going into more distracting situations, because she knows that there is value in paying attention to you. It's important to move at her pace. So if she's 50-50 listening to you or paying attention to you and you're inside where there's not a lot of stuff going on, she's pretty neutral to everything. If you go outside, she's really gonna blow you off. So you wanna make sure that every time you say her name in whatever situation, whatever level you're at, she pays attention to you right away. You mark yes. Once that's at 100%, then you can start adding in slowly other types of distractions. Then you move to the backyard. Once that's 100%, then you can move to the front yard, whatever. Down the road, we're not gonna go from the living room to outside the dog park. That's it's gonna be frustrating for you. So other than that, I've also been working on the beginning of an out. Really all of this stuff just started yesterday because she doesn't want to take food from me. So when she's coming into me. Hi. Out. I just toss, say out first, brief pause, toss the treat away from us. Hi. Out. I just want her to get that muscle memory of hearing the word out, and she turns and moves away. Right now I'm outing her away from me, but out is going to be a very all-inclusive term. It's going to be almost a command, meaning move away from something. So right now, again, we're doing it away from me. Eventually I'll start doing it away from a possession. I know that she was maybe showing signs of some resource guarding, so we'll use this behavior for that. Other than the out, conditioning that response, I'm not using commands just yet. I want to make sure that she's doing behaviors 100% of the time before I name something, just to avoid disassociation. So, if you have any questions over my chaos that I'm sending you right now, again, I apologize, they distracted me. Please feel free to ask. If you're like, what the heck are you talking about? I will not be offended because I ramble. It's not my best trait. Where are you going? Yes, good girl. Next week we will start getting more consistent with behaviors, and we'll start working on leash pressure. Right now she just knows that she can drag, and usually she gets what she wants. Like if I let her drag right there and she moves, even if she pulls really hard individually, like, oh my gosh, whatever, you can go. That's gonna strengthen the pulling, and the pulling starts now, it's just a little bit of pressure as it is successful, but she needs a little bit more every time. That desensitizes her to the pulling, and so she pulls harder and harder and harder, it'll be harder until she gets what she wants. So she really just has to never be successful with pulling. If she's dragging her little heart out, we're gonna move backwards. Yes. As soon as she moves into that leash tension, we will reward that moment. So that's where we'll be focusing next week. Branching off from the out, I'll probably start outing her away from things that she finds not a lot of interest. Maybe she just goes to sniff it to see what it is, and I'll out her away from that. I'm not gonna start with something that she really, really wants, because then she's gonna have a little bit of that possession and wanting to have it. So, hey, go ahead, my leash. Is this that? Good girl, yes. Again, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. Until next time.